religion and Christianity, another thing I embraced with atheism is to put myself first. I grew up my entire life, especially being a religious woman in Southern Baptist, fundamentalist, puritanical, Calvinistic ideology and religion, that my needs were less important and that my voice was less important than a man's. And it's so sad how we limit and control women and their ability to just live their life in a way that pleases themselves. I grew up knowing that my needs were not as important as a man's, and my sexuality, or lack thereof, was not as important as a man. What's important to me is to advocate for myself, to always see myself as just as important as anyone, regardless of their title, their life experience, their gender, their race, doesn't matter. We're all equal. All of our needs, our discomforts, our desires, our pursuits are just as equal and as important and valuable as everyone else's. And I refuse to live my life where my needs are just forgotten, dismissed, or villainized. I didn't even grow up in a church that believed women's libido was valid to a man's, and that if a woman even was equal in male desires or anything, was rare or never. And if a woman does admit that her drive matches or exceeds what a man's is, she would be a pariah. Like, they would think she's an addict or something. And this is why I always put myself first. Because in a society that believes that women don't matter as much and that hearing their voice is a judgment from a male god, I have to put myself first, so I have self-confidence. And you wouldn't believe or even think that a woman has to advocate for herself, to have the bare minimum of self-confidence, but you do. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to create boundaries. And even then, men won't respect you. They will try to push your boundaries. They will try to test you to see how much less you actually value yourself. And when a guy says that I'm wife material, I take it as an insult. Because nobody treats women worse than how men treat their wives. Wives would put up with anything. Most things, anyway. And I put myself first to have good mental health, to be seen and heard in a world that sees me as something to use and sees me as an asset, not because I'm valuable, but because of what they can get from me. And my family, several times a week, guilts me and shames me and calls me selfish for putting myself first and creating an expectation that everyone is equally valuable. They shame me. They really do. And I've been in therapy for almost 3 years, and I've learned that if somebody reacts where they see you advocating yourself as a threat to the status quo, this is a red flag. People who are good for you, people whom you want in your life, will want to know your boundaries. They will protect your boundaries. They won't make you feel like a heel because you have boundaries. They will protect the intimacy, the vulnerability, and the closeness you have between each other by maintaining and defending your boundaries and the right to have boundaries. If anyone, family or partner or friend, makes you feel bad for advocating for yourself, sticking up for yourself, putting yourself first, they're almost always mad because they don't see you as an equal. And if they're not gaining something from your service to them or people they care about, they don't see you having a purpose. And this is why being around narcissistic friends and family, it can be so detrimental to your mental health. If narcissists can't use you, you have no purpose. They see you sticking up for yourself as a threat to their POV. And not much changes. My family calls me selfish because my labor, emotional and physical, isn't based on what they get out of it. It's based off what I feel comfortable and want to give. Not because I have to, not because people expect it, but they do. They do expect it. And if they're not profiting off my labor, then they take it personally. And some of the meanest comments I've ever gotten is just not sharing once in a while. And yeah, sharing is important. But if I have to feel like I always have to share everything, that it's not a choice but a duty, that's not what being a friend, being a sister, being a mother is about. You should share because you care about people, not because it's expected. And if sometimes I want something to myself, leave me alone. I'm accused of not being grateful enough by my own roommate. I'm the first person to be grateful in my family. My family goes out of their way to do things for me because of how grateful I am. My own mother admitted many years ago, and even recently, I am the most grateful person in the family. Anytime they give me a gift card, take me to a place, I say thank you. And I never use it against them. Even though most times they don't return that favor, I don't use the nice things people do to take advantage or anything. Why would you do that? But putting yourself first is one of the ways to establish autonomy. Now, yes, you can take it to the point where you're selfish and spoiled and entitled, but that's not putting yourself first. That's seeing yourself as the only one who's equal and should have something. There's a difference. But if you don't see yourself as equal and advocate for yourself and call people out for not letting you sometimes not be the person doing everything, this is not a healthy dynamic. And I will always put myself first. I live life with one concept. When you need to do something, you always put your own oxygen mask on first before helping other people. If your mental health, your life, and how you want to live isn't in order, you have no business helping other people. So yeah, I put my own oxygen mask on first. I make sure I'm okay before I help other people. Now, is that 100% of the time? Of course not. Because sometimes we're all human. Sometimes we're a mess.